book it says that everything, living and non-living, has the three gunas, tamas, rajas and sattva. But how can a non-living thing, which is man-made, have all the three gunas?
You see, we can interpret the word gunas to mean the physical world that we live in, as well as the, if you like, the human world that we operate in. So the gunas they permeate the whole of creation. This is what the idea of gunas is about. It's not only visible in the physical sense, it is also visible in human terms. So you can say a person is tamsi or full of tamas because he's lazy. You can say the same thing, say in the physical sense, saying the if you like, this quality of inertia. Things have a habit of not budging. If a piece of rock, it just sits there. So the very thing that we, in human terms, we call, say, tamas as saying laziness and inertia, is seen as inertia in the physical world. So we see a relationship, and it makes sense because we say the same. It's like a stodgy person who just sits on the settee and watches TV and doesn't want to do anything. And say the piece of rock doesn't want to do anything either. So the idea of inertia is just showing you in physical terms as well as in human terms. So the idea of the gunas is so central because the Hindu religions, they look at it. This is something that has not been properly explored, and it will be explored in this century. There's a whole of this creation. See, everything, living, non-living, as soon as it manifests itself, becomes visible in this world, kind of has three attributes intertwined. They're never singular, they're always intertwined, and you can't separate them even. Three attributes kind of combined together, and the way they explain is they call them threads. So you're using these three threads as if the whole universe has been threaded together, including living thing and non-living. This sounds, very poetic, and how do you mean? Look, you see a piece of cloth, you've got threads going this way and you've got threads going that way, and when these threads are intertwined, they become material. In the same way, they say the whole of this creation, physical, human, intellectual, spiritual, is all nothing but three elements, three threads combining. So in the physical sense, we say that the thread of inertia is the one that kind of makes a rock sit still. As we say, Newton's first law of motion. In fact, that's what it is. That a piece of matter will not budge unless something acts on it. So the idea of is physical, and in the spiritual, in the human terms, it is the idea of laziness. In spiritual terms, it means ignorance, because you just don't like light. You are so lazy and dull. You don't want light. So you are if you like, ignorant. This is how the word tamas, from physical to human to spiritual. So there's a link. Still the same idea, same thread. Then the idea of rajas comes in. That means things which have a habit of moving, motion, forces. So in the physical, we'll see forces kind of which drive things. You can say force of gravity and force of electromagnetic. So you see forces in the physical world. There's something dramatically different from matter. And so in Newton's terms, this is the second law of motion in Newton, for defining force. In human terms, it means a person who does not like to sit still, who wants to be active. And there are some human beings who are, but again, you see, the all threads are linked together. They're not separated. So one person not just full of laziness. There's a bit of inertia and a bit of activity. We are all combination of these three attributes. So you've got some kind of activity. So some people are more lazy than perhaps active, or some people are overactive. We call them, ants in the pants. They can't sit still. They must do things day and night, jump about. So you got that means too much rajas and less tamas. And so far so good. Then we got the third guna, which is very interesting. It says really the whole thing can only be held together, this rajas and the tamas. It's the third element, third thread. You say third thread. The cloth requires just two threads to hold it together. The universe requires three threads. The third one goes this way, if you like. That is sattva. There is a sense of balance that seems to keep operating and become visible in variety of different ways. So in physical terms, this is Newton's third law. See, they just discovered the three gunas and give them three laws. It's the idea of action and equal and opposite reaction with the balance out. So if I'm sitting on the table, on this chair, the amount of push I put on the chair, it pushes me back. It's exactly the same. No more. Otherwise I'll jump up. I'll fly off. And if it was any less, I'll collapse. So they have to they balance out. Natural. There seems to be natural balance in the physical world. Newton's third law. In human terms, this means a person who is reasonably balanced in the way he is looking at things. So he's not overactive or not too lazy, and is more balanced and, if you like, much more sober in his activity. In spiritual terms, this becomes the quality of being content, illumined. You see, is illumined. Like the tamas was darkness, this is illumination. So threads everywhere, that's what I'm saying. In the physical world, in human terms, and even in the spiritual realm. Same threads that take us everywhere. When you think about this, the whole universe is kind of just threaded, of these three things threaded together. You suddenly feel that this is a very unusual way of, and again, they are never single, they are never separate. The threads are always together. But sometimes one is more predominant, the others are less visible. In human terms, in physical world too. So, to see, look, can you imagine ancient Hindu mind? Do you know how old this is? This is the oldest philosophy the Hindus created. This is part of the Sankhya Darshan of Rishi Kapil. This is the most ancient system of thought, the first one. And yet this idea of these three threads are still there today. In physics we learn them, otherwise we can't do physics, we can't do GCSE physics. And nothing but exploring the three threads at the physical level. In religion we still need those three threads to, if you like, appreciate, if you like, our spiritual dimension as well. Still the threads come with us, saying that there's more sattva, and the aim of Hindu life is to move from tamas to rajas, because we are automatically, all of us, tempted to be tamasi, because we don't like to move about. It's if you like, our natural kind of starting point. From there we need to become more active. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says action is better than inaction. So go from tamas to rajas. Say, don't stop there. You see, once you become too rajasic, that again becomes, if you like, a whirlwind. Say, develop a sense of balance and contentment. This is sattva. So we start from inaction to action, and then from action it says selfless action. Means actions which are not for your benefit but for greater benefit. So you go from tamas to rajas to sattva, becoming selfless in your activities. Be active but be selfless. So this is a very lovely question. Thank you, madam.